Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex, and my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo. Today, we're taking a look at LSU cornerback and the New York Giants' third-round pick, Cor'Dale Flott. This is an interesting prospect, Anthony. Kind of had some snaps on the outside last year with LSU, played mostly in the slot. He's projected as a nickel. Some people thought he'd be a safety at the next level. The dude is a wiry 179-pound corner. He's 6'1", so the dude is skinny. He is a freaking stick. And that is definitely problematic at the NFL level. Of course, you have stronger guys, physical guys going up against the heavyweights now. This is not college football anymore. He's going to need to be able to make arm tackles at the cornerback position, especially if he's playing nickel, because he's going to be asked to play a lot of run defense in Wink Martindale's system. So he needs 10 pounds of muscle mass straight off the bat. That was a big reason why he rejected to actually participate in the bench press at the NFL Combine. He did everything but the bench press. So that should give you a clear indication they did not think he was going to perform well in that category. So they were like, you know what, let's leave it up to interpretations for teams and not put ourselves at a disadvantage. But Anthony, before we dive into Cor'Dale Flott, we'll take a look at some film, talk about a little bit his tangible, intangible traits. Before we do that, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. I really like what Cor'Dale Flott brings to the Giants. I think that he's, a solid, versatile cornerback who definitely needs to add some weight, as you mentioned. And honestly, he probably didn't participate in the bench press because he probably can't put up 225 pounds. That's more than his 179 total body weight. So, I mean, that makes sense, but also it's something that he needs to work on. He does need to add some weight, add some strength in order to succeed, especially if the Giants view him as a potential outside boundary cornerback. Right now, because of his size, he's probably going to be pigeonholed into the slot. That's where he's going to have to play because there's less press and, all that stuff. But he does have some good instincts. He has some good speed, and I like the way he plays. And once we dive into these clips, you're going to see he's got some really great acceleration, getting to ball carriers in the backfield or even just getting to the ball while it's in the air. So I really like Cor'Dale Flott and what he brings to the Giants. Think he's a really nice athlete for the Giants to develop. Thought it was a good pick in the third round. I'm excited to see what he's able to accomplish.
Absolutely. So let's kind of give you guys some insight into his numbers, his metrics, his traits, and then that will give us an idea of how we can round out him as a player, especially after we look at the film. So right off the bat, you can see that he took a monstrous developmental step from 2020 to 2021. He really struggled. He was 19 years old in 2020 for LSU, and he's a starting defensive back, right? He got absolutely toasted. 282 coverage snaps. He allowed a 71.1% completion rate against, 656 yards, 6 touchdowns allowed, and 0 interceptions. They just absolutely picked on him all season long. Now, the main thing here to consider is that he's a smaller guy. He was learning the position at the next level, and LSU obviously very competitive, play some of the best teams in the country. They really picked on him and they took advantage. But what I really like about Cor'Dale Flott is not his size, not his bounciness, not this. It's his work ethic. Cor'Dale Flott has some of the best work ethic and any defensive back in this draft class. The Giants saw that and they said, hey, this kid is 20 years old and he has the best work ethic that we've seen of any player. And the New York Post interviewed Jeff Kelly, right? Cor'Dale Flott's high school coach. And this is what Jeff Kelly told them. I'm always the first person on campus. I have been for years. The thing I'll never forget is that every morning I rolled in that summer, Cor'Dale was out there and it was barely daylight. There was nobody with him, just him and his bag of cones and his step ladder for all his footwork drills. I don't think he ever told me, and it wasn't a deal that he was going to be seen or to prove it to the coach how hard he works. This is a guy that's been doing it all his life. Flott went and said, I've been doing it all my life, being built like this, growing up, playing this game of football, everybody telling me I'm too small to do it. I just focus on making an impact on the team. If there's anyone that has the work ethic to be a great player in the NFL, it is Cor'Dale Flott, right? He puts his best foot forward. And, you hear people like he's up early, right? He's up 5 a.m., 6 a.m. He's up early getting the work in. He's up before everybody else. So he's got that 2-3 extra hours of work. And that's the difference between being a starter, being a good or great NFL player. If he can add that muscle mass, Cor'Dale Flott could be a tremendous athlete in the NFL. He could be a great player. But Anthony, how encouraging it to see a player with those type of intangibles?
I mean, that's what you love to see. That's super important to see a guy with that kind of mentality. And even if you go over to Pro Football Focus's draft guide and you read what they have to say, where he wins, this is the number one thing that PFF says he wins on, and it's mentality. They said Flott won't give you an inch, and then he'll let you know about it after the play. He's the kind of corner that will wave incomplete after he's torched and the ball is overthrown. Can't teach his confidence. And combining the confidence with the work ethic, I mean, you have the potential to get a really good developmental cornerback out of Cor'Dale Flott, in my opinion. I think, the Giants want guys that are the first ones in and the last ones out. I mean, that's something that Kayvon Thibodeau mentioned in his introductory press conference, that he's always going to be working hard. And if Cor'Dale Flott is the same way, then these young guys will be able to develop. But the thing with Cor'Dale Flott is he might not need to be entering the building working on drills every single day. He might need to be entering the building early to get some weight reps in, right? Go hit the weight room, add some muscle mass, get on a diet, get all that protein in, eat your chicken. That's kind of the main thing for Cor'Dale Flott as he develops and tries to make an impact as a rookie.
Yeah, that's really what it's going to come down to, right? He has all of the skills and the versatility to line up on the outside in the slot. He can do everything you want him to do. It's going to come down to how big Cor'Dale Flott ends up being and how much weight he can put on. He's only 20 years old, guys, so he has time to put more mass on. That's a really, really big positive. Now, let me give you some insight into his snap counts, like where he played last year for LSU. And I'll give you his combine numbers so that way we can kind of round him out as an athlete and see what he has to offer there. So he spent 21 overall snaps playing deep safety, 42 snaps in the box, 178 snaps out wide, and 357 snaps in the slot. So clearly most of his snaps came in the slot. He had 10 coverage stops, 11.1% forced incompletion rate. He had 5 forced incompletions. His average depth of target was 9 yards. So, they're definitely taking him down the field a little bit. 43 tackles. He missed 6 tackles. He had a 12.2% missed tackle rate. That number is going to skyrocket in the NFL against stronger people. So he's got to get bigger again, nickel corners in Wink Martindale's system. He's going to have to play the run. And that's why I project that Darnay Holmes will be the starting slot corner to enter 2022. But I think Cor'Dale Flott, give him 6 months, 7 months, he'll be right in the mix for snaps. I think he's going to start to steal some snaps around the midway point of the season. But let him develop. We don't have to rush him into this. Darnay Holmes is more than capable of starting the season as the primary slot guy, in my opinion. But Flott, I think, has a tremendous upside if he gets the size right. Let's take a look at his combine numbers. So he ranked in the 76th percentile with his height at 6'1". His weight is the 8th percentile, 178. His arm length is way below average in the 16th percentile, just 30.13 inches. Hand size is tiny in the 2nd percentile, 8 inches. 40-yard dash, he ran a 4.52 at the combine, a 4.44 at his pro day. So his game speed is a lot better, kind of like Xavier McKinney-esque when you're looking at him as a speedster. Like, he's not a fast guy in the straight line 40-yard dash, but his game speed shows a lot better, and that's reflected more by his 20-yard shuttle, which is the 81st percentile, above average, 4.10 seconds. Did not participate in the bench press. Vertical jump was 34 inches below average. Broad jump was about average at 10'2". 49th percentile and a 55th percentile with a 3 cone at 6.94. So, the bottom line is what analysts are saying, he's not ready yet, but he's the kind of guy you want to develop because of the confidence, because of his skill set and his athleticism and the upside that is there, and his mentality and his IQ. Those are the things you want to build around Anthony. Before we dive into a little bit of film, kind of take a look at what he's capable of doing. Do you have any last thoughts on him as an athlete?
I think what's going to show up on this film is that his acceleration is much better than his top speed. And so I'm pretty much ready to dive into this film and take a look at it. But that's something that I'll say. I know his 40-yard dash number isn't all too impressive, but do 40-yard dashes really matter all that much? I mean, I think it's been scientifically proven that they're not the most important metric. But when you take a look at his game speed, it's there. It shows up. He's able to get to running back on a swing pass in this film. And I really like that clip. So let's just go ahead and dive into it.
Yeah, his reaction timing is top notch. And that's really what stands out to me too. He's very, very good at changing direction, which you need against guys like Kadarius Toney's, the Wan'Dale Robinsons of the world. You need corners who can change direction on the blink of an eye. Look at Trayvon Diggs do his on ice skates against KT last year. So you see why it's necessary to have corners that can do this type of thing, especially when you're in the slot. But let's take a look at him here. LSU plays a lot of zone coverage. But let's take a look at what he does here. So he's dropping back, but watch how athletic he is, right? You'll see him. He intercepts us in the bottom right side of your screen. Look at him backpedaling there. That is incredibly difficult, right? He didn't turn his body. He didn't shift his hips. He had the ability to backpedal quick enough and make that jump to actually intercept that football. Good IQ, good ability to read the quarterback's eyes, really great athlete, and a good football IQ, right? That's something that you're going to see from him throughout.
Yeah, what I really like on this play is his vision and his play recognition. This is really high football IQ. So if you see as the play starts right here, that running back is swinging out to the flat, and Cordell has to decide, am I going to jump down on that route and take it away, or am I going to read the quarterback's eyes and see where he's targeting? He sees that the quarterback is targeting the over route, so he goes and takes the over, and he makes a phenomenal interception. This isn't even his assignment, really. I mean, he's kind of in a read position here. He's supposed to read where is the quarterback looking, but that's a really important trait, the fact that he's able to recognize what the quarterback is up to. Now, you could say that in the NFL, better quarterbacks are going to look for the over and then throw to the under, and he might get beat in that regard. But in this zone defense, this does show some pretty good play recognition, in my opinion, on Cor'Dale Flott, and the ability to kind of maybe bait this quarterback. This quarterback definitely thought there was a pocket in the zone that he could fit this ball into, and Cor'Dale Flott just took that pocket away. I'm sure in the film room, this quarterback is going to go back and look and say, man, I should have thrown that swing pass. But Cor'Dale Flott did his job and tricked the quarterback into not throwing the swing pass and got an interception out of it.
Absolutely. And you can see he's very bouncy. Like right here, like it's like right here. This is where you want to see. This is the apex of the play, like right here. So right here, you can see Cor'Dale Flott. He's running downfield, right? The quarterback sees this. He's like, okay, this guy, I know his style. He's very quick, very agile. He will catch up to this throw, and he will stop my running back for a loss here. But watch the quarterback here. His throwing motion starts right here, right? His throwing motion starts here. Look at Cor'Dale Flott. His eyes lined up perfectly with his corner. Look how quickly he's able to change direction, backpedal, and he keeps his eye on the football the whole time. In 2020, one of his biggest issues was that he was turned around frequently, right? He was kind of like Eli Apple, could not get his head turned around to locate the football. Here he has his eyes reading the quarterback, really good IQ, and he can backpedal to that because he knows he has help over top. He's able to undercut that route, good jumping ability, and a really nice interception. This is one of his better plays. I believe he had 2 interceptions last year. So let's take a look at what he does here. So you're going to see him. He's at the top of your screen. He's at the top of your screen, I believe. He's up against Jamison Williams of Alabama. And watch, he's a very interesting guy, right? Because he doesn't really do the little back. If you look at like Derek Stingley at corner, he kind of backpedals slightly and then he reacts. Cor'Dale Flott's weird in the way that he kind of manages this. The receiver crosses his face, but watch how he like his balance allows him to like shift his whole weight and then like kind of use the lever. It's really strange. You'll see it. He doesn't do this little backpedaling. Like he does a little backpedaling, but look how he jumps to the left. He gets crossed. He gets face crossed. Like this should be a lost rep for a cornerback. Cornerbacks in this position right here is he's off leverage. He's putting his hand out to grab. He's lost this rep, but somehow he manages to change direction so quickly. He's very, very light on his feet. That's probably why he's very light, 179 pounds. He's able to change direction the blink of an eye, and he catches up to this route. He gets his hands in there and makes a great, great play after getting face crossed by that receiver. I thought personally this is one of his best clips because it showcases that even when he's crossed, he's able to recover very easily because he's so light on his feet. He's able to change direction and just plant his feet and bounce the other direction. Really interesting player. You don't see many guys able to do that, but I think Cor'Dale Flott's one of those guys that has the athletic attributes.
Yeah, I think this is a great recovery rep, right? Because it seems like Jamison Williams wins upon the release right here, as you pointed out. But how quickly can that cornerback flip his hips and get back into the play? It's a quick slant route, so of course he's got that to benefit because there's a pretty quick. It's a very short route, so he doesn't have to worry about getting beat over top here. It's just a quick route that Jamison Williams is running. But Jamison Williams, I mean, that was a first round pick to the Detroit Lions, and again, just the way he's able to flip his hips and recover here, good trait for a cornerback. How can you recover? If you can recover well at the collegiate level versus a first round talent, well, it might bode well for your future in the NFL. Having those quick hips, being able to flip them and recover on a play like this.
Yep, he's also on the outside too, so keep that in mind. He does have that versatility to go on the outside. So that's a very nice play by Cor'Dale Flott there. And this is, some people thought that Cor'Dale Flott might be a safety at the next level, right? Because he's pretty rangy in the backfield. He has the speed and agility and quickness and reaction timing to, serve as a decent safety. He's got the height for it. The question is like, can he go up and make tackles in the open field? Is he strong enough? Can he stop the run and come down like Xavier McKinney does? And is he a thumper? He's not really a hard-hitting safety like that. He's good when it comes to stopping guys on those swing passes and stuff. You'll see a clip a little bit later, but he's a good job of getting to the football, and he's really good job of getting his hands in a place where he can make a play. So let's take a look at him right here. This is a really nice play from him. Watch this underneath route. Look how quickly he reacts to this. Bam. He's not afraid to go full speed into a tackle. You know, you love to see that from corners because some corners, they just back out of tackles. Like they will not put their head on the line. They will not put their body on the line. They'll just kind of, live to see another day. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but ultimately Cor'Dale Flott, man, this dude is 100% balls to the wall every single play. And right here, you can see, look at the reaction timing. Bam. It's nice to see because there's a couple guys around him, and any of these guys could have reacted and left the guy open, but he does a great job of look how quickly, man. And that receiver turns his head and he's already there. Perfect tackle. He's not going for any kneecaps. He's just taking him down. And I think that was really, really well executed from Cor'Dale Flott. One of the better reps from him in terms of a tackler.
Yeah, and this is the rep that I was mentioning before we got into the film portion of this video. Again, you're just seeing great reaction times and that game speed, because maybe his 40-yard dash number isn't the most impressive, but look at how quickly he reads this and then flies down on it. I mean, he doesn't give this receiver on this drag route any chance to turn upfield. Like, it's a form tackle. He gets there immediately as soon as that ball is caught. The corner or the receiver turns around and Cor'Dale Flott is just right there to make the play. And that really starts at the beginning of the play. Just again, looking at his eyes. If you see Cor'Dale Flott's eyes, he's looking into the backfield. He is reading the quarterback the entire time. So again, you mentioned how some see him as a potential safety. I could see that on a play like this and the other one that we took a look at where he's really just reading the quarterback's eyes, because that's a primary job for a safety. And the fact that he has that trait as a cornerback, it gives him a lot of versatility, and B, the potential to maybe make a move over to free safety at one point in his career, because he's so good at reading the quarterback's eyes and making these plays where he just jumps down on these routes, or maybe he takes the over route like he did on that first interception clip. So again, great instincts and great game speed is what I'm seeing on this clip.
Yep, his backpedaling, for the record, is pretty smooth. He's a good backpedaler, and he's able to do good things in that area. And if he adds 5-10 pounds of muscle mass, he could absolutely translate to a safety in the future. Like that will give him the strength. If the Giants can maintain his agility, bouncing his speed and athleticism while adding muscle mass to his frame, he's going to be a pretty damn good player. And I think with good coaching, it'll show that. But this is his 40-yard dash. He ran a 4.44. At his pro day. So I just wanted to throw that in there, kind of get an eye about what his straight line speed looks like. He looks fast, man. He looks pretty fast to me. I mean, that's fast enough. So this is a good job. He doesn't get crossed here. He does a good job kind of letting this receiver come to him, latches on, makes a good play.
Yeah, another solid rep here. Kind of like it's not the best route by this receiver, to be completely honest.
Tries to push him
but
off.
Once he gets to the top of his stem, he tries to put a move on Cor'Dale, but Cor'Dale has really good positioning, which kind of shuts down the whole route. I mean, it's the positioning here at the top of the stem that I really like. And, he tries to outmuscle Cor'Dale, knowing probably on the scouting report that Cor'Dale is a very undersized in terms of weight cornerback. But Cor'Dale does a really good job muscling on his own here and really just kind of fighting back and staying on top of the receiver, not letting this receiver stack, not letting this receiver gain an inch out of his break. It's a good job recognizing the stem and staying in good position to shut down this route.
Yeah, I actually think that Jameson Williams gets a little bit stunned here. I think his intention was to give him a little jab step to the left and cross his face on like an out route here, but instead Jameson Williams ends up literally jabbing left, right? He looks like jabs left, and Cor'Dale Flott mimics it exactly. You can see Cor'Dale Flott literally steps with his right foot right into that jab right here, bam, matches it, and Jameson Williams is like, oh shit, like he's squared off in front of me. He has not moved. He has not taken the bait. He's staying square. He's in a ready position to essentially react to whatever this route is going to be. And I think Jameson Williams ultimately just runs into him. He just stumbles over himself, and he's like, "Oh, like I thought I would be able to cross him over here and hit him with this like deep post to the outside." But instead, like he just ends up trying to see, now he's trying to break away on this like kind of post to the outside. It was just too late. I think Cor'Dale Flott literally just won that rep like overall. And even Wan'Dale Robinson, he said about Cor'Dale Flott, he went multiple times. He said against LSU last year, he went to the sideline and told his coaches, "It's like he knows what route I'm running." That's the sign of a damn good corner. If a receiver, especially one that just like led the SEC in like yards and touchdowns, is saying that, the guy, his hardest task was Cor'Dale Flott, and he's like, he knows what routes I'm running on a guy like Wan'Dale, who's a great crisp route runner. like that's a great sign that Cor'Dale Flott has some upside. So I wonder if the Giants looked at when they were interviewing Wan'Dale Robinson, asked him who was the toughest cornerback that you played against. And I wonder if they asked a bunch of receivers, and I wonder how many of them said Cor'Dale Flott was the toughest one that we faced off. So definitely an interesting, narrative to throw in there. And, as you can see, this dude has the upside. It's just a matter of adding the strength and the good coaching.
Yeah, and I'll say that's a sign of, a really good corner to come, but it's also a really great sign of an instinctual cornerback, which again might play into those who believe he's better suited for the safety position. When a receiver is saying it's like he knows what route I'm running, that's because again, instincts and IQ. And Cor'Dale Flott, wherever he might, lose ground in terms of weight and size, he makes up for with his mind. He makes up for with his instincts and with his IQ, his ability to read quarterbacks and read receivers. Because we mentioned how he read the quarterback on a couple of those plays, but we also mentioned on this clip exactly how he reads the receiver. He reads a stem and he stays in the perfect position to shut this play down. So he's very instinctual. He's very smart. And I think those are the traits that really make an impact as you try to develop at the next level. If you're smart enough to succeed, then you'll make up for any kind of weight deficiencies that you have, in my opinion. So I really like that trait. That's my favorite trait for Cor'Dale Flott, is just how smart of a cornerback he truly is.
Yep. And I think that he showed up in some big games, coming up and having a good game against Alabama. It's not easy to do. That shut down Jameson Williams on several routes, not easy to do. Obviously one of the best coached NFL, rather collegiate teams. And if you can play well against them, it's pretty obvious that you can, translate to the next level. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video, taking a look at Cor'Dale Flott, what he has to offer. 3rd round pick out of LSU. Definitely some nice upside. Needs to add a bit of weight. I would love to see him more in man coverage. LSU played a lot of zone. So, let's see how he translates. We'll see him in preseason, get a good view of him in terms of what he can do like in a man coverage heavy scheme, especially against the run and in a nickel roll. I'm very intrigued, but again, the mass is a concern. The strength is a concern. He's got to add more in those categories. Would love to hear your comments below on the YouTube channel. Make sure to drop a like and subscription as always. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.